Hello. So the other thing I want to show you guys is that another type of container that I like that's really cheap to buy if you want to buy your container is grow bags. So these grow bags are like kind of like a felt or canvas material usually. Sometimes they have a plastic lining, sometimes they don't. I don't have a preference with having a plastic lining or not having a plastic lining. The plastic lining basically ensures that it stays, like the water stays in. It also helps the bag not to break down as fast. I like the felt bags a little bit better than the canvas ones. The canvas ones tend to, only last 1 year, maybe 2, and then they kind of fall apart. So this bag that I'm using today is one that I actually had peppers planted in last season. The pepper plant died out. I already pulled it out. However, over our winter, weeds grew in it. So I have to first prepare this one so I can use it again. And then whenever you're reusing soil, it's really important that you fertilize. I make my own fertilizer blend through eggshells and banana peels. So some of you probably saw me in class eat a banana at some point and then put the peel in a plastic bag. I took it home so that I could actually make my fertilizer. So that's one thing I use. I also am a big fan of like what's called fish emulsion, which is basically fish poop. So it works really well. It's all natural. If I'm gonna eat something, I only wanna use a natural fertilizer. I don't wanna put any chemicals into my body. So I'm gonna go ahead and tip the camera so that you can see the bag a little bit better. So the first thing I have to do is get the soil ready. And as you can see, it's got this huge weed in it. I have to pull that out. So I'm using my little hand rake and I'm just gonna dig it in and find the root of this plant, of this weed, and pull it out the whole root. And then I'm going to go ahead and just pull out any of the leaves that have blown in. I wanna make sure I loosen up this soil really well because plants like good drainage, and if your soil is really compact, they can't get the drainage that they might need. So you can see that like now I have some nice loose soil. So this root, I don't want to have, sometimes it's okay to leave some roots in, but if I have a big one that I can easily pull out, I'm just going to pull it out. That's going to prevent weeds from growing in the future by keeping the soil clean. So now like I have a nice thick but lightweight soil, like it's a pretty good amount. You can leave leaves in, that's fine. I like to mix them in. And now I'm gonna take my Cherokee purple tomato, and just like I did before, I'm just gonna kind of hug or squeeze the outside. And then with this one, I'm going to put my fingers kind of like a V around the plant and dump the plant into my hand. So you don't have any soil on the inside. And then like before, I'm gonna kind of feather or like shake around the leaves, or the roots I mean, so that I can get, so that when I put it in the soil, they're ready to start growing. So I'm just gonna dig a little tiny bit of a hole, put them in, make sure everything's nice and loose. Or again, you don't wanna, I've seen people pat down their soil. Typically you don't wanna do a lot of that just because then the plant can't be as efficient to grow. They don't like that. They like to kind of have a little bit of room around them. They'll naturally compact as you water. I'm gonna keep my little tag in here. And then one thing that's different about tomatoes is that they need to have a cage around them. So why do you think a tomato might need a cage? So tomatoes, when they grow, they get very leafy and very broad, but the tomatoes can be really heavy. So if you don't have a cage around your tomato, you're still gonna get tomatoes, but the fruit could easily break some of your little stems. The weight of the fruit will get so heavy that your stem can just snap. You also get more fruit by doing it that way. So the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go grab my tomato cage and put that in so that you guys can see the final product. So here's my tomato cage. This one's just a small one. You don't need a huge one. and I'm going to spread it out evenly over the tomato plant. And then so as my tomato plant grows, I'm probably going to need to guide this into here. Sometimes what I do is I'll come out and when I'm checking on it, and then I will take a stem and kind of put it over the top, and as it grows bigger, I'll just keep doing that just to make sure they have the maximum growth. Again, the last step here after you plant anything is that if you're reusing soil, to make sure that you fertilize as in you water, but always make sure that you water after you've planted something, just so that the roots get the right start. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I can't wait for our next one. See you later.